Hi, ladies. Welcome. This video is intended to give you instructions on the MyFitnessPal app and how we will be utilizing it through the Faster Way to Fat Loss program. Thanks so much for joining. Please keep our comprehensive guide for the program that you will find in our exclusive online portal handy, because I will be referencing that throughout this video. The very first step is to download the MyFitnessPal app from the App Store, preferably on your mobile device, your cell, whatever you carry with you. You can download it onto a computer, but it is most effective and convenient to just pop it in whenever you're out and about and eating. And so having it in your phone I found to be the most convenient. So we're going to go right into the application. Once you've downloaded it, give me just a moment. I will show you what it looks like. Can you see my light right there? You see this blue guy? It's blue with a little white guy running or dancing or something with the little Under Armour U on it. We're going to go ahead and click on that. And when you first go in here, we're going to go to the third from the top is goals. I'm going to click on that. This is where it's going to ask us to enter in our starting weight, our current weight, our goal weight, and our weekly goal, our activity level. Start at the top. As I mentioned in my video yesterday, step on the scale on day 1 and then put that bad boy away. But that we would like to have for our starting weight or current weight. And then we want to put in our goal weight. So if you're struggling with this, please reach out to me and I can help you. We can reference a BMI chart, but if there's a number you know you're shooting for, by all means, put that in there as your goal weight. But just keep in mind that weight is such a subjective measurement. You know, what looks like 150 pounds on me would look different on you, and our goal truly is fat loss, not weight loss. So the numbers, you know, they're nice as a reference point, but they're not our whole focus. So once you put in your goal weight, then we're moving on to our weekly goal. Please select one of the top two, either the half a pound per week or 1 pound per week. There's no need to go anywhere past that. It's just not reasonable. We want to make sure that we are getting enough food. And if you go any more aggressive than that, you're going to be putting your body under too much stress, in my opinion. And then next, I'd like you to select and put your activity level at active. We will be engaging in some intense workouts and some strength training, as well as really focusing on refueling, replenishing, resting, and allowing our body to recover. The only alternative would be if you are in a profession where you are on your feet all the time. You're a nurse, you're a teacher, you'd have some laborious type of job where you are moving and active all day long in addition to doing our workouts. Then you may want to consider doing the very active, but the active level should be good for most of us. And then if you scroll down a little bit further, we're going to scroll down to the calorie and macronutrients goals. Click right on that and you will see that MyFitnessPal calculates for us exactly what our goals are for our calories, our carbohydrates, our fats, and our proteins. So for myself, just for your reference, I'm almost a 6-foot tall woman. I'm very active. My calories are 2,000 calories a day. The carbohydrates, as you will see, are 50% of the food that we'll be eating. Protein is 20%, and our fat intake is at 30%. So please go ahead and, make note that the calories, we want to be mindful of that number, but note we are not counting calories. We are being aware of our macronutrients because we want to make sure that we are getting the right amounts of each. But I do want you to know and be mindful of calories, because even if you are eating proportionately, ideally, but you're only getting 1,000 calories, you're eating at a deficit. That's too extreme and unsustainable. So just be cognizant of that number, but we're not focused on calories as much as we are getting the right amounts of those 3 other categories. You know, if you find that you're really struggling as we get into this program a week or two to hit your carbohydrates that are at 50%, maybe you've been really used to a high protein, low carb diet and you're struggling, it might be worth us modifying just slightly and bringing your carbohydrate level down to 45% and your protein level up to 25%. But for starters, most of you will be right at where the program sets it at, and we are on our way. So now we are going to, I'm going to probably pull up, yep, I will. Bear with me here. I'm going to share my screen with you. And share screen. And there it is. I'm going to pull up the guide. So I want you to see that our very first day, when we get to Monday, we are going to do a low carb day. And our low carb day, as I mentioned yesterday, is also where we pair it with a speed burst day. Our goal on low carb days is to eat fewer than 50 grams of net carbs on this day. So our total carbs minus our fiber is how we reach our net carbs. On Monday, we are going to also start with our intermittent fasting. If you haven't started already, I typically break my fast at noon. On low carb days, I tend to break it even a little bit later, but by all means, ease into it. And we want to maintain that 8 hours of a feeding window or less. We're going to avoid our starchy carbs like root vegetables. So our sweet potatoes, our squashes, things like that, we're going to avoid on our low carb days. We're going to avoid our grains. We're going to make sure that we eat protein at each of our meals on Monday. We're going to eat lots of greens. It's a great day to have, you know, a spinach salad or romaine lettuce with a salad with protein and good fats on it. It's a great day to eat broccoli, cauliflower, roasted vegetables with dinner is a great way to get our greens in. I want you to eat when you're hungry and stop when you're full. Low carb days, as I said, really unlimited amounts of the greens, and limit our fat, our good fats. I certainly definitely will be eating things like nut butters or almonds throughout the day to help keep me feeling full. And we will also be doing one of our first, sprint or speed day workouts on Monday as well. So I'll go ahead and show you right in MyFitnessPal how we make sure we stay on track of our net carbs and actually how we actually get into the program. So maybe I should take this screen off. Okay, so now that we're back at MyFitnessPal, to enter in any of your foods, for those of you that are new, if you go right to the diary, which is just to the left of the plus button, you'll see your day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Even though I don't eat until noon typically, I just start in the breakfast category. I have already put in almonds today. All you do is you click on the add food under the category. There is a search bar, so you can search for a food. I just simply search for almonds. You can also use, instead of in that search bar, over in the corner over here is also a barcode. So if you have a food, like my almonds came in a bag that obviously has a barcode, you can just click right on that. Oops. Okay. Allow it to use your camera. And then you can take a picture right there of the actual barcode. It scans it and knows exactly what your food is, and then you can select your serving size. So once you select that, then you go ahead and just click on the check in the top right corner. Maybe can't do it facing it this way. There you go, and then it'll show up in your food log. I did that twice. So if you ever do something where you want to take it off, just slide to the right and you get the option to delete it. So that's how you easily add food throughout your day. And then when we get to, you want to scroll all the way down on that diary page. You'll get down to the bottom corner. On the left, there is a black nutrition one. It has a little pie chart next to it. That's where we're going to go. And this is our macro pie chart, we like to call it. On this thing, you will see the macros are broken down into the 3 colors, carbs, fats, and protein in their respective colors. It shows you our total and our goal for each day as far as the percentages. This is really nice to see. On a typical day, at the end of the day, you'll have a big chunk that is half of it that should be blue because that's 50%. And then a third of the next half, you know, is fat, and then a little smaller slice for the protein. If you want to click right up in the middle one to the left of macros is nutrients. Click on that, and this is where you can see our goals for the day in regards to all of the breakdown. As you enter your food, it will update and tell you your totals in each of those categories. You'll still be able to reference that right next to those numbers, our goal, and it also shows you what is left for the day. So on a low carb day in particular, we want to enter our food in ahead of time and kind of play around with it to kind of make sure we're managing our carbs on those days in particular. A lot of times I even plan it out the night before. I just decide it's a Monday. I know exactly what my day is going to look like, so I plan out my food as well, and obviously adjust as needed. But when we're on this page under nutrients, that's where we can see our carbohydrates, and right below it is fiber. So again, our goal is to stay at 50 grams of net carbs for the day. So that's where you take your carbs, and you can take that total for the day and minus the fiber to see where your total is at. So for example, what I put in yet today, oopsie. I've hardly eaten so far today, so I have lots of room in there. But let's just say I'm playing around and I'm going to say, I wonder if I can fit an apple in. So I search apple. There's medium apple. I add it to my log. And then I go into that nutrients again. I go to nutrition. I click on nutrients. And I see that it had like 22 grams of carbs. Well, I'm not willing to use 22 grams of my carbs for the day on an apple, so I'm going to actually take that out. And I think what I'll do instead is I will try to get some more protein in. I will have some tuna and some cucumber, so I'm going to go ahead and input that. Oh, and the great thing about that, it is all protein and fat. So when you go and you add that, I'm not adding any carbs, which is wonderful. I'm getting 27 grams of protein and some good healthy fats in there. And I am on my way to keeping my carbs nice and low on that day. Please note that in MyFitnessPal, you do not need to track your exercise. You can track your water intake. The goal would be to be drinking half of your body weight in ounces of water. So say you're 150-pound woman, half of 150 is 75. So to drink 75 ounces of water a day would be a great starting point. If you have room, shooting for 100 ounces of water a day is Wonderful. Next, I do want to talk a little bit about leg day. Leg day is the day where if we're going to engage in, not engage, if you're going to enjoy some treats, that's the day of the week that I plan for. So I mentioned this yesterday. I know that's probably the day where Saturday, I'm going to have a glass of wine in the evening, or I'm going to have a donut with the kids. Our goal is to still have it fit within our macronutrients. I don't throw everything out the window. It's not a cheat day by any means. I just don't see the purpose in saying throw everything out the window. So we are going to just focus on the mentality of if it fits your macros. So you still want to check your MyFitnessPal, add it in there. The great news is on our training days, you definitely will have the room in your carbs and your fats to put those in, but I put those treats in first and build around it based on that. It kind of gets to be almost like a little bit of a game, playing with your food to make this all work. But I do want to note that it takes time. So if you're new to this, the idea of tracking your macros, show yourself some grace, give yourself some time, because it is a process. It is a lifestyle and kind of habit change to be adopted, and that doesn't just happen overnight. I know my first several attempts at low carb days, I overshot big time, and which was surprising because I didn't think I ate that many carbs. But that's the wonderful part about this program is you really start to get mindful and understand what food is and how it works and how it fits into these categories, and ultimately what our bodies need to build lean muscle mass that burns that calories like we want them to, and also reduce the fat composition of our body. Okay, I think that's all for now. If you have any questions regarding MyFitnessPal, our food cycle, how we're all going to get started, please let me know. I am here to help you and support you and make you as successful as possible throughout these next few weeks. Thanks, ladies.